Abbie.
Hey.
Hey. This is the first section that we have here in this channel. That is like an interview, but it's more relaxed, so we can talk about a lot of things, everything that comes up into your mind, we can talk about that. And first I wanted you to introduce here, so please just do it.
just do it.
Just do it, please.
So I'm Abbie. I met Mile in Romania when we were both volunteering together in Bucharest at T5.
What is T5, Abbie?
T5 is a hostel in Bucharest that accepts volunteers from all around the world, like us.
Were you a volunteer before?
Yes, so I volunteered at Bucharest after volunteering at a hostel in Lisbon. So when I finished school, I wanted to travel as much as possible, and I'm doing my university online so that I can do that. And volunteering is the cheapest way that you can travel. The cheapest way I found so far that you can travel. I'm still a student, so it has to be cheap. So I volunteered in Lisbon for a month and in a hostel, and it was just awesome. Like, you meet people from all different places, you work in a place that you would never work usually, and just the vibe, the whole thing of being in the sun. Coming from the UK, being in the sun is a big it's just great. Being in that environment with different people, different cultures, different music, different food, and by yourself is nice. So I wanted to do that more. So I was looking for more opportunities and came across T5 in Bucharest, and it just looked great. So I chose there.
Beautiful. Well, you said that you're from the UK. From what part of the UK are you?
I'm from Wales, South Wales,
Nice.
which we've just talked about has a connection to Argentina.
Yeah,
So.
actually, I didn't know that Wales had a community in Argentina and Patagonia. There's a really big connection with our cultures. How is Wales? How would you describe?
Wales is beautiful. Like, I love it. I'm very proud of being Welsh. Because Wales is quite small anyway, but I live like 30 minutes from the city, maybe 40 minutes from like the national parks, the really big, beautiful mountains, and maybe 30 minutes from the beach. So I'm like right in the middle of everywhere. So it's great for me. But it's quite small, and the people that you're with are
Small. Not the people aren't small.
They're tiny people.
Everyone in Wales is tiny. No, like it's
small groups of people. Like, usually you're in a community and everyone knows everybody. Is different from a city, and even if you go to the city, like, you bump into somebody that you know, like you can guarantee.
Yeah, in Argentina we say the small town, big hell.
Yeah, I can relate sometimes. Yeah. So it's nice to travel and like open your mind to everything else. And I think that everybody that lives in a small town, not just Wales, but like even that lives in a city should do that and travel. I think it's like, I couldn't recommend it enough.
How did that started in you? Like, someone told you you can travel solo and you can do volunteers, or you just like woke up one day, Google, and said, I'm gonna travel solo and do volunteers. How was that?
No, I don't know. I think like growing up, I've always gone on holidays with my parents and my family, and those holidays have sometimes just been to like one place and you stay there for 2 weeks by the beach in the sun. So sometimes like that, but a lot of the time they've been like more like adventurous holidays. So I've always had that like adventurous side given to me, perhaps, and I'm really like lucky to have that and grateful for that. And I think after seeing that, you want to carry on. You want it to carry on, and I want to do that more full time, a lot more often than just maybe once or twice a year now that I finished school and I have the freedom. But I couldn't do that with my parents. My friends are in university, or they don't have the money to travel, they have jobs. So I guess I'll go alone. And seeing it on TikTok, like, you see other people doing it as well, and they're like, if they're doing it, then surely I can do it. It's,
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. You can always try at least.
exactly. And then the algorithm knows. You scroll in, and it gives you so many videos, and that's how I came across Wildpackers. It was somebody, they were like, oh, living for free, like working for 3 days, and
Yeah.
a couple of hours a day. I was like, oh, sounds good. So I looked into that more, and yeah. So thank you, Instagram.
Thank you, algorithm. Thank you, social
Thank you.
media.
Thank you, algorithm.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you said that you're currently studying. What are you studying,
Yes.
and how is it that you're going to the university and traveling at the same time? Explain that, please.
Yeah, so I'm studying health sciences at university, which is like a big mix of human biology, psychology, neuroscience, public health, everything human. And that's something that really interests me. I wanted to carry on studying after I left school, but I didn't want to be stuck in a university. Like, I didn't want to be stuck in one place for another 3-4 years.
Because I'd already been stuck in one school for 18,
So I was looking at options. I was going to take a gap year, and then I thought maybe after a year I've traveled a bit, I'll be ready to go to a university. Or I was looking at getting like apprenticeships abroad, all the options. I spent ages Googling and Googling and Googling, and then I came across the Open University, which is a UK university that's all online. And I thought, it's designed for people who have kids that work full time, that like just have busy lives and can't go to university. And I was looking at it and I was like, this would work. I could do this. I could do this and travel.
Even if I'm not allowed to, they don't need to know. They do know.
They do know it's allowed. Open
They do know
university,
it's allowed.
please.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. So I found like the perfect option for me.
Do you work? And if you do, what do you do?
Yeah, so I work remotely. I'm trying to get as many jobs as I can, all online, so that I can travel, because my university is online. I want to have that freedom of working when I can. So I started being a maths tutor online, and I did that while I was in school as well. But it doesn't really work out with traveling, because I can't guarantee that I'll be free at 4 o'clock every Monday to teach people. So I still teach people, but like every now and again we just text, and it's like a last minute call if they really need help with something. People that I already know, or like family friends, people that I've taught before, not really anyone new. But I'm starting to get paid for content creation, which is fun. So I started working with Wildpackers, which is the company that we volunteered through, and I made some content for them, and it works really well because you travel, get videos for traveling, post them, and get paid for traveling effectively. So it's a nice cycle of traveling, getting paid for it, traveling, getting paid for it. You don't get paid, well, I wasn't getting paid enough to pay for the whole trip, but I hope that it's something that can kind of build to be that in the future. And at the minute I'm working with my university as well, making content for them, and yeah, I'm hoping that jobs like that I can build up.
Did you found while traveling that you met people with different ages, or normally they're young?
No, usually, so I'd say maybe the average age is like 23 to 30. People that have finished university but aren't quite with families, like that kind of bracket.
I didn't finish
So-
the university, but I know.
You'd had enough. You'd had enough of the university, so you'd already.
I always find that I'm the youngest. Like, so I started traveling, my first solo trip I was 18. Yeah, you talk to people any age, and you never introduce yourself as, oh, I'm Abbie, I'm 18. You know, that doesn't happen. You just guess, and you go off the vibe, and age doesn't matter really, I feel, when you're traveling. Do you feel the same?
I agree with that, but I wanted to ask you about that because you're 19, right? Or 20?
Yeah, 19.
19. You're 19, and I remember that when we were in T5, a lot of people, including me, we were surprised about your age.
Yeah.
How
And
do you
I get
feel
that
about
a
that?
lot.
Okay.
Like, I get it a lot. If anything, I take it as a compliment. I mean, people say like, oh, I don't believe the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the things you say. They're like, oh, they seem a lot older, a lot more mature than you are, which I take that as a compliment. And I feel like I've got 2 older brothers. My brother is 31 and 26. And I've grown up like having conversations with older people. Like, that's been my whole life. I don't feel like there's any difference between me and them, between me and you. Like, I remember we went to Obor.
Oh,
And
Obor,
we were having this conversation, and you turned to me. He was like, "Abbie, I can't believe you only have 18 years."
That is true.
I was like,
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I'm gonna put a video from that moment because I think that was our first activity. Like
our first day.
Arriba, trabaja, al centro y adentro.
Abajo, al centro, a la dentro.
You came to T5 like 2 days ago or 1 day ago, and I was like, she's gonna be my new friend. And I asked you like, do you want to go out? Because I really wanted to go out with people and do some plans, because that's how I felt in Romania the first time, because I was almost got deported and everything that happened. I was kind of scared of going out solo, and when Abbie came to the hostel, I was like, oh, I can go and do some activities with her. And when I first asked you, you were always like available. Like, if you were not literally available with the time, you wanted to do like things as well, and that was like really nice. Like that spirit was really nice. But normally you are like that, or it depends with who invites you?
I think it definitely depends who invites you, of course. Like, and I'll split the question. So when people ask me things, I usually want to say yes. Like, a lot of the time, even if I don't really want to do it, like, I'll say yes because it could bring me opportunities that like I wouldn't usually do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if somebody asks you and you just really don't want to, you just don't want to spend time with them, and I was going to say it's nothing personal, but a lot of the time, yeah, it's personal. Yeah, but like, there's always going to be people and traveling, you meet so many people, there's always going to be people that you don't get along with. Like, there'll be people that you meet that you just click instantly, and I feel like we did that. We just clicked and you're friends. And there'll be some people in the middle, but there'll be people that you just, you don't get along with. And I don't think I'm a people pleaser. Like, I won't just say yes because they want to do it. Like, I'll say no. Like, I'm more than happy to say no to things if I don't want to do it. Which is good in a lot of ways. A lot of times that's good because it's like, it's good for you. You need to take time for yourself. You don't want to spend your day doing something you don't really want to do. But also, in a way, it kind of shuts you off from things that you could have been doing that were good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that when you take decisions, you always risk something, and you can always think, if I like the FOMO, I don't know, like if I would if I would go to that, maybe that would be different, or the opportunities, I don't know. But it's good to trust your intuition, I would say. Do you feel like when you're traveling, you have like an intuition that like guides you or something like that?
Yeah, I think like traveling, especially traveling alone as a woman, like you have to have some intuition. You can't just do what people tell you to do. You can't rely on other people to make decisions for you. Like, you have to make those decisions for yourself. And if you think about it too much, it's it makes it difficult. Just trust that gut feeling, which I always thought was some rubbish. I was like, trust your gut, it'll tell you the right thing. I was like, like it's kind of
what
rubbish.
my gut says. Yeah.
Exactly. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was with a neuroscientist, and she said that it's actually a thing. And I like science. I trust her. So it's saying that like there's a link between your brain and your gut, which is like your subconscious. All of your memories, even if they're subconscious memories and they're not like at the top front of your mind when you're making a decision, all of the experiences that you've had and the things that have happened to you and the thoughts that you've had in the past are still there in your head subconsciously. And that gut feeling is like those subconscious feelings, the memories of those feelings come in.
So we were talking about the traveling solo and traveling solo as a woman. So I wanted to ask you, how is your experience with that? How do you feel?
Overall, it's pretty good. Like being solo as a woman, I actually haven't had one bad experience that I can. No, I mean, if it was a bad experience, I would have already thought of it. So no, I haven't had a bad experience, and I feel like, even though you travel solo, you travel by yourself and you're not alone. Like you get to a hostel. The only time I was alone in Bucharest, unless I chose to be for like the day I went out by myself, the only time that I was alone was from the airport to the hostel.
Yeah.
In a way, it's actually like, it's hard to be by yourself. Working in a hostel especially, like it's difficult to be alone.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need to go out and say like, no, I'm gonna be by myself now. I'm traveling solo. Like, leave me be.
Well, actually, we had separate dorms, but
We did the luxury.
The luxury, but well, that's a big thing. How do you feel about that experience before? That was in Lisbon. Did you also not share a room? Or
No, so it's very rare. I think volunteering, it's very rare to have a private room. We got lucky.
Okay.
But yeah, the last volunteer place I shared with 2 other people. So the 3 of us in the room. And I think from speaking to other friends that have done similar things, like that's also lucky. Some people have shared in rooms of 6, of 8, even like of 12 sometimes.
Yeah.
Which has pros and cons. Like when you're alone, of course you have your peace, you have the time to yourself, which I know for you is important a lot of the time.
I'm sorry, we have to explain this.
Basically, when I came to T5, I shared the room with other person the first week, and then I was alone, and then I had to share it again, and I was kind of pissed off because I was enjoying a lot being alone, and yeah, we had a little thing, but it was funny at the end.
Yeah, it's funny now. You weren't having fun at the time.
No, it's funny now. In the moment, I was so pissed off. I had a huge fight with my manager, who we are sending really good send kisses to Filippo.
I was saying about the pros and cons of sharing a room.
Yeah.
Like on one side you have the space to yourself, you have your own time, which I said was important for you. And on the other hand, when you do share a room, you get to connect with the people, and they're usually other volunteers. You get to connect with those other volunteers more. They're the people you're spending your time with. You chat to them, you really get to know them. And it's nice to be in that space together, to have the full experience together.
First, you have a little duck there. You want to share something about that? Maybe?
Yes. This is Diego.
Okay.
He comes everywhere with me. I saw that. No, you think you're smooth.
He comes everywhere. Well, not everywhere. He comes on every trip with me. And he has his little section of my Instagram highlights, which gets a lot more attention than any picture that I post of me. But I'm okay with that. Look at him. He's a handsome boy.
Okay, so yeah.
He's got his backpack, and it's just a little a little thing that I do while I travel. So I thought, because this is a traveling related
Interview, podcast, conversation,
Who knows?
whatever you.
he can't
Well-
talk though, so he doesn't have any input
For now.
for now.
Okay, so would you go back to Romania?
Yeah, I think definitely because of the people. Like, I know a lot of people there now. I've made friendships with people there, and I know that if I go back, they will still be there, which is very rare when you're traveling, because usually other people are traveling too. If you work in any other hostel, any other place really, usually it's full of backpackers, and you're all just there for the time being, and then you go off to your separate places. Like us, we met in Romania. Now you're in Argentina, I'm back in Wales, and you never know if you'll see them again.
Do you plan your trips, or you're more of an improviser?
So I would say I'm more of an improviser now. Now that I've had some experience of traveling, I am more of an improviser, and I would recommend being an improviser to anyone that wanted to travel. Being spontaneous is important for traveling, and that's how you get the most authentic experiences. If it's planned to the day, you can't really, there's no wiggle room for more adventure.
She's really good.
How do you feel now, and how do you feel the first time that you travel solo? Like, do you feel that changed you in a way, and in which way
Yeah.
that changed you?
Yeah, massively. And like to start traveling solo is massive. And anyone that says that it isn't, that they weren't scared, like, I don't believe them. Because it's terrifying. You go by yourself, like, airports are stressful to start with.
Totally.
Like-
It's nice that you say that, because normally people think that if they don't travel solo, they look at people that does that and they're like, you're so brave. Yeah, you're brave, but you
Yeah.
are also terrified.
Yeah, and I think being brave is doing it scared. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. Being brave is doing it when you're scared. Like, so yeah, you are brave. Yeah, it's
So beautiful.
It's true though,
Yeah, it is.
You just have to do it. Like, if you wait for the right time, it's like, oh, I don't feel ready yet. It's not the right time. That right time will never come. You will never do it if you wait for that time. So just do it. And I think there's always a flight home. Like, if you do it, if you go there and it's the worst thing ever, which it won't be, like, I'm sure it'll be great. But if you go there and it is awful, like, just say, okay, yeah, it wasn't for me. I'm going to go home. I'll do something else. And that's, like, perfectly fine. It's just making that first step to do that.
Do you feel like your family supports you, your friends, or it's like a mixture of that? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think they're supportive. My family especially, like, they're excited for me. If I book a trip, they, it's exciting. They said they're, like, proud of that, like, brave. I say it in quotes. It is what it is. So yeah, I think definitely. And friends, yeah, also they always seem interested. They, like, wish me a good time away. I think somehow in some people there's a bit of jealousy. Of course, like, you're doing things that maybe they would like to be doing too, and they can't. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they are in university and they feel stuck. Yeah, there's not much that you can do about people that are jealous. Like, they will be, and there's not much you can do as long as you are yourself and you're not, like, showing off when you're home. You're like, look at all these amazing things I've done. Don't rub it in their face. And sometimes it's hard to, if you're, like, really excited, you just come back from a trip. Sometimes it's hard to, like, keep it back a little bit because you just want to be like, look at all these things, look at my pictures, look at these people on that, You just want to, like, But yeah, I feel like overall it's quite nice to be with those people.
Coming back and also be interested in how their lives changed in a way.
Yeah, And that's a difficult thing, I think, is traveling, you change so much. And I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself, but I feel like I'm speaking for both of us, is like you really change a lot. And mentally, I mean, like you have different ideas, you've opened your mind completely to all these different things, and you have new ideas, you have new perspectives, and you change a lot as a person. Probably as much as somebody who stayed in the same place would change in maybe a year. And you go home and you're with the same people and they haven't changed, and you feel they're still here and you feel maybe here, and it's difficult to go back to there and have those same conversations and go to the same places and be that same person that you were only a month ago, but it seems so far away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult. It's not the fact that you're changing, it's the fact that they're staying the same that makes it hard, I think.
Yeah.
And I've had that, like, people have said to me, oh, you've changed. And at first I was a bit, like, taken aback. And they didn't say that in such a good way. They were like, oh, like, you've changed. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I have.
Of course.
Yeah, you're right, actually. But it took me back that they said it in, like, a negative way.
Oh.
And I was like, I thought about it. And I was like, yeah, I have changed, actually. And I like it.
That's beautiful.
I like this person that I am now, so. And
the only
hopefully...
thing that we know is that life changes all the time, so...
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that anybody that doesn't change is against changing.
Yeah, it's boring. I think
feel like that's part of the fun of life.
Totally. Well, you can always change if you cannot travel as well. Like I would like to say that, like, I know that traveling, it's also a privilege in a way, not only because of the economical thing, also because of your routine. Maybe you have, I don't know, responsibilities in different ways and you cannot do traveling. But I think that you can, being a sponge. You know what I mean? Like, absorb things and learn things and change. It's not related with the traveling, because I don't know if that happened to you, but I met a few people that were not a lot, but they were traveling and they were super closed. It's not related,
so I think,
being open with traveling.
I think traveling just speeds it up, because when you're traveling, you're completely away from everything that's normal to you. Like all of your usual routine, your usual hobbies, your habits, the people you're bothering with, the conversations that you have, like all of that is gone. It's out the window, and you are you in this completely different place with different people, and you have to kind of start fresh. So you have to be you as you are now without your reputation.
You must have a bad reputation. Why did you laugh? Who is the Mile of Argentina?
Oh, I guess you never know.
I guess I'll never know.
You don't have to act in a way that you live up to a reputation, perhaps, or it's different for everybody. And when you're traveling, you have the chance to just start fresh and do new things and do the things that you want to do. And as you're there for a month and you do those things, that becomes the habit, which changes you.
Totally. Oh, you explained
you know
it
what
so
I mean?
well. You explained it so well. Because it's there's something that also happens when you are living in your hometown or with the people that you met from years, like your family, your friends. You always do the things, well, not always. You can do things that you like or that you desired, but you always hear the voices from that people that loves you, but maybe you let those voices in to you, to your mind, and maybe you don't allow yourself to do a lot of things that you would do if you're traveling.
Exactly. And I thought about this the other day, actually. It's like when you're traveling, it's not that I'm a new person. Like, it's not that I'm a different person. And I always used to say, like, I'm a different person when I'm at home than when I'm traveling. But it's not a different person. Like, it's still me. But it's me being, like, free of that judgment. Like, and it's probably exactly the same judgment of people being at home. So, an example. I remember being at T5 and like dancing doing like karaoke, I think. Oh no, it wasn't karaoke, it was music bingo. And I was like stood on a chair and like singing Man, I Feel Like a Woman. And I was like, I would never do this at home. like what am I doing? But I just like didn't care, because I know that if I did that, people at home would talk about it. And like, it's a fun thing to do. Like, why do I care if they talk about it? Like, yeah, it's cool. But it would be like a thing. Oh, remember that time where you did that? Or, you don't want to put yourself up for things in case it's an embarrassing thing and then people talk about it forever when you're at home. And maybe you're more willing to be you and do things when you know that the judgment isn't permanent, because the people aren't permanent. If you're traveling, you're there for a month. And maybe that's the case. But yeah, those people they'll still have those memories, they'll still have those thoughts, but it's just the fact that they won't be telling you that they still remember it.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, like, we continue having a relation, and like we're still in touch, and we did a lot of things, and we expose ourselves, and with that we like each other, you know, and that's good as well, because that shows you that you can do not terrible things, but like embarrass yourself and maybe embarrass the other people with the things that you're doing, and they will still like you. Yeah, they'll like you, and even they will like you more for it, because you're being this yourself, you know. I think hostels are amazing, like weird places. They're just great places, because there's all kinds of people and all kinds of mindsets, which is usually an open mindset. And I haven't been anywhere other than a hostel that you can just go up to anybody and start a conversation with them. Being in hostels, that's completely normal. Like, completely normal. To go up to somebody and, like, I remember going up to somebody and saying, like, oh, I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi. Do you know the password? It's not working. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's this. And then we helped with the Wi-Fi. And then 2 minutes later, it was like, oh, do you want to go out for dinner tonight? That's just normal. That's normal. What kind of advice, or what would you say to those people that want to travel, but they're doubting, or they're scared? They're doubting it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say, like I said before, there will never be, if you've got the idea that you want to do it, that's enough. Like, that's all you need. Even just to have that, like, that idea, that drive to want to travel solo is all you need. There will never be a right time. You'll never sit at home and think like, okay, yeah, I'm ready now, because that time just doesn't come. And you'll keep putting it off, you'll keep putting it off, and then you'll just regret that you never did anything. Yes, you will be scared. Yes, like, nothing will ever all be planned out, but you just have to do it. Like, just do it scared is my advice. I wanted to propose to you.
You want to propose?
Propose is bad. Propose is
No,
marriage,
propose.
Right?
Propose is also, yeah.
I want to propose.
Well, talking about this, we're gonna use this
insert
moment.
video.
There's a video of Abbie proposing to me, and there's another video of me proposing to Abbie.
This is a love story.
That's not the song.
A love. Oh my god. We got the antagonist. Turn. Ay, se la comiste. Ay, se la comió. Qué asco. Si no la tiene papadita. Ah, no tiene nada que ver.
I don't know if it's the same night.
It is the same night. Well, it's the night and then the morning. It was like 6 a.m. the same night.
Yeah. We went out and we clicked so fast. And also another thing that happened at the end of the volunteering, there was this guy, Catalin, that made collages that were from movies, animated movies, and he put all the volunteers that were volunteering in the faces of those animated movies. So here we're gonna put our favorite movie, or my favorite movie. I think it's yours as well.
Yeah, I was actually just watching it. Yeah, I was actually just watching it. People ask me like, "Oh, you say you're a bit different when you're traveling." They like, "What do you like?" That's me. That's.
I'm Shrek.
I'm Shrek.
I'm
Shrek.
Yeah. If you do have a question for the next person that I'm gonna talk with, that you don't know who it is, me neither. Okay.
Here we go.
Do you ever get bored? Does the thrill of it, the excitement of traveling, ever wear off? Do you ever just think, I want to go home now and stay home and settle? Because I always see videos of people like, I'm never going to settle down, I'm never going to go home, and people are telling me to start a family, but why would you start a family when the world looks like this? You see all those videos all of the time, you know? So I want to know, like, do you ever get bored? Do you ever want to go home and just stop traveling?
If you want to share an anecdote that we shared in Romania or later.
Well, we have a few. We have a lot. We spent a lot of time together. Well, we didn't spend that much time together. What was it, like 3 weeks? But
it was 3 weeks, but it was intense.
Yeah, exactly. Like the time was short, but it seemed like much longer. Like it seems that I knew you longer for more than 3 weeks. My favorite and the thing I missed probably the most when you left was our girl dinners.
Oh, girl dinner.
Girl dinners.
Okay.
Some were very questionable. Some were pretty bad. Some were really, really bad. But they got better. That shakshuka you made was delicious. That was
I'm gonna put all the pictures. Girl dinner, mixing everything that we have. Nothing. Couscous.
Shakshuka Volume 2.
Well, I think we're done, girl.
We're done. Okay.
We're more
It's
than
been
done.
an honor.
I'm really glad that we had this conversation. Thanks a lot for everything.
Thank you.
For everything we
it's an
shared.
honor. It's a privilege.
Do you want to share your accounts or something?
It's my name, Abbie with 3 L's, because 2 L's was taken.